Welcome to TradeTheMBI.com. This John's report is for the 4th of December. I'm rocking 102 fever right now, which very interesting. Was doing pretty good. It was a busy week with all the different events, and I guess the cold air got to me or something. I don't know, but not fun. Anyway, the market continues to just pound away. I mean, we're going to have, another 2685 target range. You can see that we were cyan under red, so clearly the only weakness we had was the steel broke down right here. It was a crazy day with the whole Michael Flynn. Once that got worked out, ABC had to retract the story, which was completely erroneous, and that only bolstered it because now you've got tax reform. The economic growth numbers are big. We could be in for a raucous growth time, which is going to mean inflation in that as well. And so this whole move that everyone thinks is so ridiculous and excessive is not going to be so ridiculous and excessive, which is something we've been talking about for, well, how long? Well, since Trump got elected. Plain and simple. A change in attitude, a change in policy. We went from no growth to full growth, and that's a major shift. It's going to have a huge impact for people's lives. NQ still behind overall. I mean, you got the S&P making new highs. NQ struggling just a little bit. Euro's still way out of range. You got Brit exit coming up closer. It'll be interesting to see what it does to that. It benefits the U.S. to have that elevated euro. Bonds still ridiculously high. It was just a crazy move. There was a lot of safety flight during the whole Mike Flynn thing, and whether or not it means things are getting closer to going after Trump. It was always their plan to have this completed by the end of the year, so we'll see if that works out the way they expect it. And oil maintaining right at its highs here. Complete reset of the steel, so the fact that we're like in a neutral area from the short, just supporting on the green ABM, we should see a little bit more weakness from it, but not horrible in that standpoint. And gold still, I think, suffering from, like I said, the cryptocurrency, but also you haven't seen the actual direct effects of inflation. This was something I was talking about, though, as it relates to labor supply. You know, they always said that there was full employment. Well, clearly not. If you're able to fill new jobs, reduce the unemployment rate, and it's not causing wage increase in a significant manner that's fueling inflation, though we may start to see it at the beginning of next year. So it's something we will definitely keep an eye out for. Shrink this a little bit so we can see how this played out. It was quite a dramatic. I had to shrink quite a bit because there was a lot of activity. We started out pretty decent, came up to the peak here, and then boom, couldn't sustain itself after the news and everything, but then made an extreme bottom all the way down here. I mean, this down to minus 27. We talk about getting down to minus 23 usually creates a turnaround bump like it did here, but the secondary one was certainly enough, and got to the 50% point, rejected off of it, but didn't break below the 23 here, and then just worked its way back up, and then just continued to excel. We had a couple of points in here where we were starting to get some weak signals, and it did in fact pull back to like 76% range, but there wasn't any major other than the one right here, DOC spread, where you had the steel, cyan, all of that move at once, and that was probably just your most sustained plateau move. And the fact that it didn't even break the short algo is like crazy strength, so it just kept going. Not hard to follow those when it's doing it like that, so I'm just going to try and get me better and go from there. But the market continues to do what it's supposed to do, and that's a strong 5K chart right there. Usually with a move like this, fine, we may even retrace back to what the open is, but we might see a little bit more fill back in during the day, but still should finish towards the high, so we'll see if that plays out kind of like historical past. As always, though, trade well. We'll talk again later.